is essentially just a fetch quest simulator with a bit of combat. But what it does really, really well is the context that it's in. The way it ramps in difficulty, it goes against what's fun about the game. But in saying all that, I gave it a 6.5.
I liked Bully. Somehow it slipped my radar growing up because when it came out, I would have been the perfect kind of like age for it. It's in true Rockstar fashion though. They do know what it takes to make a fun game. Gave it a 7 out of 10.
It was fun. In terms of their ideas, and also they just understand, like Oliver said, how to make a fun game. Play as a kid, you're beating up other kids, you're kissing other kids, you're kissing adults as a kid, you're doing all sorts of stuff that just wouldn't be able to get away with it. I would give it a solid 7 out of 10 for sure.
I enjoy like the school aspect of it because like doing like the classes and stuff upgrades like a load of stuff. The game is a bit jank in some parts. Like there was times where like the camera would just get stuck behind stuff. 5 out of 10.
6.5, so somewhere.
And I thought this would be a quick game. Well, I'll boot up a bit of shovelware, why not? And it took about like maybe 10-20 minutes for me to realize actually this might be what some people class as an indie gem. So I gave it a 7.5 out of 10.
I just remember it didn't overstay its welcome. I think it took me like 2 hours to beat. The Portal aspect, that was fun.
Yes.
From what I remember. And the JoJo reference. My JoJo heads out there.
Oh, was that JoJo? I just thought it was a weird
JoJo.
tomato guy.
Oh, is that...
Six. Honestly, I'd bump up to a 6.5 at least.
So I really enjoyed my time with Turn It By Commits to Activision. It is only a short game, but it's obviously heavily inspired by The Legend of Zelda to the point where the first weapon you get is in a parody of the Sacred Grove, where you usually get the Master Sword engine. It looks great, it sounds great, and it is very funny. I gave it an 8 out of 10. Give me an average.
It would be night and day difference from when you first picked up the controller to play Celeste and when you were battling through the last chapter. I gave Celeste a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, Celeste, I gave a 10, not a 10. I think it's the best platformer ever made.
But National
Best 2D platformer ever made. I think most of the issues and difficulty with the game don't come from the game's design itself. It just comes from the user having to get better.
It's great, it sounds great, and most importantly, the gameplay is just like kind of flawless. Even after playing the game so many times, I cannot come up with a flaw. I can't come up with an issue. I can't come up with anything that would knock the score down. Give it a 10 out of 10.
I did enjoy my time with Celeste. So, I have given it an 8.5.
Oof.
No desire to go back to this game. Like, I don't even want to do the epilogue or anything, because I feel like it was just a one and done experience. I enjoyed my time with it.
Yeah, so Pikmin. I thought it was a bloody good time. I gave it a 7 out of 10 on Secret Santa, and that's not changed. It was the running joke, which I didn't care about my Pikmin, which is broadly true, but also at the same time, I really loved how much the game made you care about each individual Pikmin. It was good. It was a good real time. I thought I was strategizing in real time.
No, I really like Pikmin. I gave Pikmin 1 an 8 out of 10. The game's just fantastic. I really love the real-time strategy element to it. I didn't think I would like it when I first played it many years ago. I love collecting all the ship parts, like trying to guess how many I can get in like one day.
So yeah, I love Pikmin. I love the entire series, and while Pikmin 1 is the weakest link, the Switch version fixes the biggest issues that I had with the game in the first place. Like, the more you play it, almost the better it becomes. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
For Gitaru, man, I gave it a 7. I thought the game was really fun. It did not overstay its welcome at all. But the presentation, the story, and I'm not saying the story is a masterclass here, like by any means. It's very simple.
I was struggling hard. I couldn't do it. I had to slow down the emulator. Like, it was that bad. My thumbs did not want to cooperate with me. So just for that fact, I had to give it like a 3 out of 10. Just because the fact I physically could not play the game. It was very appealing, but the game's just not for me.
Bad game, for sure. It's not a rhythm game at all. It is a quick time event game. I gave it a 1.5 out of 10.
In my opinion, it fails at being what it set out to be. The package is really nice, like a charming little story. The music's really good. Like Lewis said, it's unique, and I like that about it. It's very much. I found it fun, but I also found it very frustrating. I gave it a 5 out of 10.
TV Robo. So, I gave it a 5 out of 10. I thought that it was actually not too bad of a collectathon type game. Like, literally, the biggest downside for me is that the game just doesn't respect your time.
I gave it an 8. I think it's really fun. I really like the characters and all the interactions that you can have. The movement and stuff was perfect for like a little robot. I just wish there was a bit more to it, like teleporting or moving the chibi house, because starting in the living room every single time was quite annoying.
I gave it a 5.5. I like the game, but I think it overstays its welcome massively. Since the game is very repetitive, if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to do a lot of days over and over again.
Given a bit of distance from the game, I think I'm going to lower it to a 6. It's just got some glaring issues, man. I thought it was something very different. It's very Nintendo and what progression in the game and how unclear the way forward is, and honestly the fact that you could just see so many quality of life changes that could have been made to it.
Yeah, I gave Split Fiction a 9.5 out of 10. 'Twas a banger, I'll say that. The best I've ever seen something be executed. Everything apart from the writing, which is why it's not a 10 out of 10, just because the writing's not great.
I gave it a 7. I thought the game was really fun. I thought the game was really good. I think narratively the game was quite poor. I think the story was the worst part of the game. Not to say it was awful or anything, it just wasn't particularly good. It was kind of tropey, it was very simple.
So I gave it an 8.5. So I think I agree with Lewis that it's the weakest in the trilogy of the Hazelight games. It's just a great time. Like you miss that co-op element of playing games together, and like actually having the split screen element is.
That's why I gave it a 10 out of 10. I gave it an absolute perfect score. I think it is a masterpiece. Every single level reinvents the wheel while also being inspired by so many other games. So rarely does a game's story match up to the gameplay. But
Mouthwashing, I'll say if we played it last year, it would have been my pick for Game of the Year. I will say now I gave it a 9.5 out of 10.
Jeez.
It's a game which I think will stick with me for a long time. It made me feel uncomfortable, incredibly stressed. It made me feel ill.
I really liked Mouthwashing.
There we go.
I gave it an 8.5. Storytelling was fantastic through the perspective of two different people. It's definitely going to stick with me for a while, I think.
Mouthwashing, I gave a 6.5. It's good in the story that it's telling. That's by far the best aspect of the game. The dialogue is incredibly realistic. It introduces a bunch of parts into the game that are very much not a walking sim. And that's where the game really starts to suffer.
So I gave it an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I feel like it's very effective in what it sets out to achieve. I feel it falls short slightly in the third act of the game. I feel like it's an excellent walking sim, really.
Metaphor, ReFantazio is a great game that does a lot of things well. A bunch of dragons flying about, and a bunch of weird and wacky stuff, and I just think it's an absolutely fantastic time. I think it's Atlas at its best. I gave it a 9 out of 10.
I played a demo because I wasn't sure I was actually going to buy the game. And after 5 hours of the demo, which is really good, the fact that you get 5 hours, we're pretty much, I think I ended up playing it for like 7 hours, got really slow. The world's pretty cool. But the thing which I didn't like about the Persona games really, which was the combat, they've fixed and made a lot better in this game, which was what ended up carrying the game for me. Gave it a 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Lewis. I gave it a 9 out of 10. I thought the game was fantastic. I really loved the world that it was set in. Stuck with the first 4 party members for quite a while, and then the last 4 party members just sort of happened like that. Like you just got them all dumped on you, and I feel like you didn't get to spend as much time with like individual party members' stories.
Cult of the Lamb, for me, was like, this is a roguelike for people that don't like roguelikes. So I just love the progression. I thought the combat was pretty okay. I'm going to give Cult of the Lamb a 7 out of 10.
Cult of the Lamb, I gave an 8 out of 10. But I think Cult of the Lamb is a very fun game. It was a very welcome surprise. The gameplay loop is very fun. It doesn't overstay its welcome, really.
I gave Cult of the Lamb 6 out of 10. Did not like the base management stuff. I don't think the game ran very well as well.
No.
I just didn't like the base management stuff. That literally brought a lot of it down for me.
Cult of the Lamb gets a big old 8 out of 10 from me. They somehow managed to create a cozy roguelike. There's the intensity of the roguelike sections of the games, but it's split up by like the charming little farming sim. Genuinely caring for my cult followers and getting a little sad when they died from.
I gave this game a 7.5, which a me problem. It is not the game problem. The game don't do like what would be classed as like the bare minimum in terms of combat and exploration. Then the game very much just like goes on without you and like sort of leaves you behind. Story's hook at the beginning was incredible.
So I gave Clair Obscur a 9 out of 10. It is my current game of the year. Big selling point of the game is the combat for me. It is absolutely just fucking out of this world. The best implementation of turn-based combat I've ever seen in any game.
But as soon as that first cutscene happened, I was completely all in. The music is fantastic. I still listen to some of the soundtracks now. I gave it a 9 out of 10.
I gave it a 9 out of 10. Is absolutely incredible. It's phenomenal. The characters are some of the most human I've experienced in a video game in God knows how long.
So, Wario World is one of the most average experiences I've ever had in my entire life. I gave it a 5 out of 10. It's hard to say positives and negatives just because the whole experience was just very, very average.
Yeah, so 2.5 out of 10. I actually thought it was enjoyable in a lot of it, but also it was just like relatively just mid. Game over system I thought was actually quite forgiving and quite nice. The fact that you could just respawn exactly where you were.
But it's like a Nintendo game that was made on like a budget of like £10. Like it's you feel the love in it kind of, but there's just sort of no backing behind it whatsoever. It was just sort of a really boring experience. So I give it a 3 out of 10.
I gave it a 5 out of 10. But it's a complicated 5 out of 10. It's just, like I say, every level feels really long, and the level design, like the base level design outside of the puzzles, I think is some of the worst level design I've ever seen in any game.
I thought the dialogue was great. I thought that the combat was really, really good. I thought the overall world was really fun. Initially, I gave it 8 out of 10 in 2019. I've given it 5.5 this time.
Undertale has been on my radar for quite a while now. And honestly, I was quite disappointed with it. I thought it was a bit boring, like gameplay-wise. I really liked the music. There was a lot of music in there where I was like, oh shit, that's from Undertale. I loved all the characters and stuff, but the gameplay just massively brought it down for me. So I've given it a 6.5.
I think I went into it expecting too much. I found the game to just be fine. I thought the gameplay was really unique, and I think the game itself, at least story-wise for me, didn't overly hit. The only thing I really thought was like above and beyond anything else was the music, which I gave the game a 6 out of 10.
Sense of humor is from 10 years ago, so I tried to give it a go. I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more if I'd just played it when it first came out. None of the story reached me in any meaningful way. The music's very, very good, so I've given it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I gave Donkey Kong Bonanza an 8 out of 10. I think the game has a lot of issues in terms of the gameplay loop. Like, it is very good. It's a Nintendo game. Then Nintendo did what they always do.
I gave Donkey Kong Bonanza an 8 out of 10. It's just I'm getting fed up with Nintendo doing the same gameplay loop of open world. I don't want to create my own fun. Like, that's why I've still not even played Tears of the Kingdom and stuff like that, because having to like build stuff, like, it's not fun for me. Other than that, the gameplay is fine. It's very, very repetitive though, and I think the game was a bit too long for my liking.
I also gave it an 8 out of 10. By putting him in a game like this, like an Odyssey-like, if you want, or even as like Breath of the Wild, where like you say, you're creating your own fun and it's just massive, and you're not given a direction to go in. It feels like they're taking away from from previous games.
So, with Death Stranding 2, I have never been more disappointed in a game.
Ooh.
Like, I'm not... So, just straight off the bat, I gave it a 7 out of 10. So, that frames everything. It's the pacing and character development and the character relationships with Sam. That's one of the biggest ones. But then the second one, it has to be the gameplay. I genuinely think the gameplay has been ruined.
I think Death Stranding 2... is just as good of an experience, if not better, in quite a lot of ways. There's quite a lot of things that I think the first game does better, but the game in no way, shape, or form is worse. It's just more. Yeah, I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Excellent continuation of the first game. I think the story was really, really, really good. As good as the first game, if not better. Visually fantastic. Technically, probably one of the best games that's ever been made. Is that it took a lot from you, but it rewarded you. After it did that. The issue is with this game, it still rewards you, but it doesn't take anything from you. I gave it a 9 out of 10.
So not for broadcast, more like not for me. I didn't like it. I gave it 5 out of 10. Anything was like above like 10 minutes for a broadcast, I groaned. The voice at the very start, Dave, it just sounded like they just got some random guy up the street because it was just like, all right, mate.
I only gave it a 6, based on the fact of the like sheer quality of the game itself. Game is incredibly funny, and I think it's incredibly well acted. Because as a game, it does nothing for me. It has to have some sort of involvement and engagement from the player.
It really is just responding to prompts almost. It's almost like a 7-hour long quick time event almost. It really does make you look at your own values and your own beliefs while you make, because it's a heavily choice based game. I've given it a 6 out of 10.
9.5 out of 10 actually is what I gave it.
Jesus.
I was fully invested in the roleplay side of it immediately. Was like fixated on making sure that I was doing the best possible broadcast.
Okay, I gave Ori a 7. The game was really good. Honestly, it hasn't got much wrong with it. I don't think it does anything in particularly. I don't think it does anything super well, but I think what it does good.
I gave it a 6.5. And the reason being is I do not like Metrovanias. I didn't particularly like the story. I thought the world it looked nice, but there was no like in Hollow Knight when you like hear about the City of Tears and then you go to it and it's like, oh shit, what's the history here? You know what I mean?
Gave Ori a 6.5 as well. I thought the game looked really, really nice, but the actual gameplay just wasn't for me. I thought the Soul Links were quite cool, but the having to actually like remember to actually do it and then I lose like 10 minutes of progress was quite annoying.
So I gave Ori an 8 out of 10. I will. So yeah, I think it looks great. I like the story. It's a simple story, but it tugs at the old heartstrings. Music's great.
I gave Silent Hill F a 4 out of 10. And that's the thing, it was much higher until like the last couple of hours. I thought the narrative was pretty strong overall. It was really intriguing, which is a positive for me because usually I really don't like games which use ambiguity as a reason to be interested.
Silent Hill, for me, I ended up giving it a 6 out of 10. Part of me still feels like that's too high because I was enjoying it at least towards the start, but the longer that the game went on, I don't even know if it started showing its cracks, really. I just really didn't start. I just really stopped enjoying it. Confused at how people are liking it so much. And even after beating it, I'm still confused as to why people have enjoyed it so much.
Like a Donkey Kong Bonanza kind of situation.
I gave it a 4 out of 10. I thought the combat is absolutely atrocious. It's fucking god-awful. I just hated that big aspect of it where you are in the middle of doing like a puzzle and stuff, and then just enemies just come out of nowhere, just start wailing on you while you're in the middle of doing a puzzle. It winded me up so much, and the amount of times you get stun locked as well, where you literally just wouldn't be able to move out of the enemy's like fucking combo that's killing you.
I thought the game was fun. In terms of movement, was one of the, I don't want to say one of the best games I played, but like a damn good game in terms of movement. Like it looked really pretty. It was just a really good time. Overall, I gave it an 8 out of 10.
I gave Ghost Runner a 6 out of 10. I thought the game was fine. I have a problem with these types of games where I will refuse to do anything other than the way that I think is right. Difficulty like just keeps ramping up and then ramping down. I just didn't like that part.
Is 0 out of 10. There wasn't a single thing I liked about the game at all. Story, not there. I think we can all agree. Enemy design by itself was meh.
I gave Ghost Runner an 8 out of 10. The highs massively outweigh the lows for me. Like anyone who knows me knows how I feel about difficulty in games. If you go into force a difficult game to happen, then you need to lessen the punishment for failure. The gameplay is very, very cool. It makes you feel like a robot ninja, and that's what I wanted from it.
Sly Cooper, I thought was a pretty fun game, but because it was only like a 5-hour game, it was actually mostly good. I do have issues with the platforming of the game. It's not as tight as I would like it to be, and because of that, it can cause for some frustrating moments, at least in the gameplay. And because of that, I gave Sly Cooper a 7.
I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Ooh.
The game, I just love the game a lot. I really like the platforming. I know Lewis said it's a bit like iffy for him, but like I'm used to it. I know how the game works. Other than that, I just think it's a solid game. It's short, it's easy to pick up, and it's just a great experience all around.
I thought that the variety in how you basically do the same thing over and over again with the stealth and the platforming was really good. I thought the second world in particular, I really liked the theming. I thought it looked really nice. The casino world. From World 3, it just like sort of took all the wind out of me. There was a big difficulty spike, I thought. Not just in what you have to do, but just the types of things that you do didn't suit what the game was good at for me. So I gave it a 6 out of 10.
So it's a product of its time, man. It's a product of its time. I don't remember kids' games being this difficult back then, but it is janky. The plot, like Lewis has said, the platform is a bit all over the place for me. The mini games are just the car bits. And like Alex said, anytime you're not playing as Sly is again just a massive frustration for me. I gave this a 6 out of 10.
Playing through the game on normal this time around, it wasn't too bad. The game is still really challenging. It's one of the, I guess it's one of the more difficult games I've played in general, just in terms of like, from like a new player perspective. It's one of those games where if you're brand new and you've never played the game before, I think it's kind of insane the difficulty spike and difficulty that it requires. Oh, sorry, the skill that it requires from the player to actually be able to play and enjoy. But the main draw of the game is it's really fast gameplay. It's really intense gameplay. It's very fluid, very fast, very flashy. And the fact that it's difficult, those the main things that like actually like draw people towards the game. And playing that myself, I definitely felt it. I was going into this expecting to not hate it. I definitely had a grudge against Niall for it. I think it's very silly. I'm going to call him out live on the podcast. It's very ridiculous that he did this, but I think they will have fun with it. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Tearaway was always one of them games where I saw it and I was like, oh, that looks like an Alex game. Will I probably play it? No. The game is very gimmicky. That's my main issue with it. You can tell it was made for the Vita. There was moments where I was, because obviously you have to hold your controller and it has like a light in it, and that's like the main way of attacking the enemies. There was times where I just wanted to hit the enemies, but it doesn't want you to do that. It wants you to shine the light on the enemies and move your controller and throw them off the edge. And I thought that was quite annoying. No. There are moments where you have to use the touchpad, but you also have to jump at the same time. So you have to hold the controller in a weird claw formation where you like touching it, because obviously it was made for the Vita, which had the touchpads on the back. Yeah, I think the best thing to compare this to is probably Astro's Playroom. Not Astro's Bot, Astro's Playroom. Because
the PS5.
It's a very like sandboxy type thing where it just feels like this should have been like, you know, like the tech demo for the PS Vita to be like, this is what the PS Vita can do. But obviously porting it to the PS4, it doesn't really, it works, but it doesn't work well. That's like the main issue with it. If I was to give it a score though, I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
Like it wasn't.
But yeah, overall, I enjoyed my time with Phoenix Wright. I'll say my score immediately. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. I thought it was pretty good. I thought the overarching story, particularly the main characters, like sort of the traditional sort of rags to riches story, started in terms of the writing. I thought the dialogue was often really good, well written, very funny in certain places as well. There were some characters which were written to be particularly annoying, which were very annoying, because especially when you're doing like the testimonies and when you're sort of like hitting against the wall of like trying to figure out like where the lie is and that sort of thing, then repeating the lines over and over again and doing the same actions and the same barks, can be very frustrating. Yeah, but I did think the investigating beforehand, in the before trials and in the middle of trials, was good. It's just another thing as well is that in order to progress, you needed to do everything. And that's what made me think like it would have been so much better if you had a minimum amount of evidence you had to gain.
Jobs. We'll start with jobs first of all. So they can be quite fun. I actually enjoyed quite a few of those, and the assassination contracts. Again, I actually enjoyed them. They were short, they were sweet, and there was always like a clear goal in what to do. They were quite varied as well. Like obviously, some were quite like stupid again. You can like mow the grass or pick up coconuts or something like that. But it was, I enjoyed those. I thought they could be quite funny. The actual main missions were a real mixed bag for me, like a real mixed bag. Some of them I enjoyed. Some of them I really, really, really did not, especially when it came to the boss fights. The jokes in the game, and it's not my kind of humour at all. It's not. It was the same jokes over and over and over again. Like the video rental one. If you remember that, every time you completed a mission, you got a voicemail off the video rental place, and it was always the same joke every single time. Haha, you've rented this dirty tape off us and not returned it. It was funny the first time, it really was. But yeah, no. I made the mistake of not exploring the map, which is probably going to bring my score down a little bit. It is it's not necessarily the game's fault; it's my fault, but it affected my enjoyment of the game. But I think this confirmed that the game's out for me. I don't think a Suda 51 game is for me. I'm glad that I played it. But yeah, I gave it a 6 out of 10.
It was a big surprise to me, was Dispatch. It felt like it sort of dropped out of nowhere. Actually, one of my favorite games of the year. When I first played it, when I was playing through it, I had the assumption in my head of I'd rather this just be a TV show. And I still think there's a big part of me that does wish I could just watch it. But I actually do like the dispatching mechanic of the game quite a lot. It's a very good time. I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Saying that, again, I did very, very much enjoy it. I think I said at the time when I finished it, that's a better superhero story than Marvel has ever put out. All the characters, all the story, very, very good. I genuinely cared about all the characters. The animation's really, really good like that. I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I really love Dispatch. It was up for one of my GOATY games. It was number 4, and considering this year, that's pretty crazy. So I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Give it a 9 out of 10.
Oh, it wouldn't be hard to figure out the average there, would it? But I think the Dispatch mini game, which wasn't really a mini game, it was a full-fledged game. Like I could see like an indie game coming out and it being just that, and it being well received. I think it had a lot of depth to it, and it took up a lot of time as well. I think
we're gonna go 4 for 4 here. I also gave it a 9 out of 10.
Oh, it's not gonna be difficult to find the average there.
I wonder what the average is, guys. No, I really, really liked Dispatch. When I was younger, I really liked the Walking Dead Telltale game. So when I found out it was like kind of on a similar wavelength, I was really excited to actually play it. And not having the walking around, which was the worst part about the Telltale games, was just a big thumbs up in my books. I really liked the dispatching game, as you would call it. Yeah, it's just a solid game. There was moments where sometimes I was just that engrossed in the story that I forgot I was playing a game, and then all of a sudden it would be like, right, pick a choice. I'd be like, oh shit, yeah, I'm playing a game.